What is going on, everybody? Spencer and Kevin at you again today.
The Blue Milk Boys are back.
Yeah, I'm liking this. I'm liking the diverse Yu-Gi-Oh content that's coming out, and all of our other stuff too. But
Go watch all of it.
yeah, and you can comment. I think I reply to. I pretty much reply to everybody, unless it's something just like okay. But yeah. Anyways,
If you didn't get a reply on your comment was stupid.
you're not cool. You're not a part of the cool kids club. Uh, so like I was telling you before that they have the structure deck voting. So the results are final for this one. And you probably, I can't even let you guess. It's too random. But Ice Barriers won the voting. So they're getting a structure deck.
Sure.
Do you know Ice Barrier cards?
Not even in the slightest.
Okay. I'm glad you say that. Okay. So let me tell you where the appeal is to Ice Barriers. Okay. Most of these, keep in mind that most of the Synchro monsters for this deck are on some form of the ban list, so they're really good. But so let's start with the Synchro, and I'll tell you like where the appeal came from. You can discard any number of cards to the graveyard, then target the same number of cards your opponent controls. Return those cards to the hand. You can only use this effect to Brionic Dragon of the Ice Barrier once per turn. That's pretty good. That's the Synchro. Here's one that's it's on. You can only have one copy. So, once per turn, you can ensure any number of face-up cards you control to the owner's hands. This card gains 500 attack for each card returned to the owner's hand. This effect until the end of this turn. So yeah, that's pretty good. It's limited to one for a reason. Here's another one, and this is like the last one. This is also you can only have one, so it is on the limited list. When this card is synchro summoned, you can banish up to one card from each opponent's hand, field, and graveyard. This card in the hand, the card chosen in the hand is at random. So, I mean, those are really good cards. But but what I wanted to go over with you today is, let's read the So those are all the extra deck. Okay, so let's read the monsters. Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I want to go through each one with you guys, like for listeners, and I'm going to see like, okay, if they're making a structure deck, do you think any of these cards I'm about to read you should be included in it? Okay, here we go. Once per turn, you can select 2 Ice Barrier monsters in your graveyard. Return the selected monsters to the deck, and each player draws 1 card.
That That's interesting, actually.
Any card that gives a like advantage to your opponent, dude. Like that's
a +1. Like that's a +1 for both players, pretty much, right?
yeah, it's exactly you gave your opponent an upstart goblin or a 1 day of peace, basically. I don't know. I think that one's not in the structure deck.
I get a +1 too. I don't know. That's the trade-off there.
Yeah, and obviously you're gonna have a lot of ice barriers in your graveyard because a lot of those synchro monsters, are like discard to do the effect. So I maybe that one's a maybe for sure. When this card is destroyed by battle, Blizzard Defender of the Ice Barrier. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, draw 1 card. It's a 500 defense 1-star monster.
Does it need to be faced up? I assume it doesn't.
No, but are you really gonna waste your normal summon on a set 500?
Yeah, it doesn't really. It seems kind of waste. It seems like kind of like a.
It's too slow,
thing to go +1.
Yeah, so that I don't think that'll be in the structure deck.
No, in Konami it might be.
Well, yeah, there's actually he's gonna have to make new monsters. Okay, let's keep going. This is Cairo Mansur of the Ice Barrier. While you control another Ice Barrier monster, level 4 or higher monsters cannot declare an attack. This is a 1300 attack
super redundant
vanilla monster, basically. Again, like, are you wasting your normal summon on this? Like, it can't even special himself?
you need to have like
You have to have,
there's
yeah.
it's a brick in the hand if you don't already have a monster out.
And if it is like the extra deck, like Exy's monsters don't have levels. Links, obviously.
Well, yeah, so they're gonna make new like so. I don't know. I feel like you kind of just build around the like you said, the synchros and the extra deck cards.
Yeah, I know. I just want to go through each one to see if there's like a singular monster Konami should like port over to the structure deck, because there's a lot. Um, Here's Dai Sojo, the Ice Barrier. When this card is normal flip summoned, it is changed to defense position. While this card is face up on the field, face up Ice Barrier monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects, by the effects of
So
spell or trap
specific.
cards.
That's so specific. No, that's a bad card. Would not run that card.
Oh, I don't know, dude. It's a
That's
oh.
everything is so slow.
If you had an established board, but you know what? It's not even a level 4 monster. It's like level 6. You'd have to
Again,
tribute summon.
Yeah, again, if it's not, if it's a brick, like if you don't have that shit already, like ready to go, it's a brick in the hand.
Yeah, that's gotta go. You can't have that one. Ooh, okay, this one might not be bad. Okay, Dance Princess of the Ice Barrier. Once per turn, if you control another face-up Ice Barrier monster, you can reveal any number of Ice Barrier monsters in your hand to select an equal number of set spell and traps your opponent controls. Return those selected spell and trap cards your opponent controls to the hand. That's really good.
Yeah, I like that.
It's only level 4 too.
Yeah, that's a good card. I would include that.
Yeah, that one's got to go in. See, okay. I was hearing that there wasn't a single one. I think that one's really good, actually. Okay, this is Defender of the Ice Barrier. While you control another face-up Ice Barrier monster, monsters your opponent controls cannot declare an attack if their attack is greater or equal to this card's defense, which is 1600. Again, it's like... Well, I guess at the very least it's blanket. It says all monsters instead of just level 4. It says monsters
So
your
it's not
opponent
a
controls.
target, yeah, or anything like that.
And yeah, most monsters attack, that'll be on the border greater than 1600, so they can't. If you can special summon this from the deck somehow, like when you have an established board, maybe. Because the thing is, you can't set this thing. Actually,
No, you can't.
yeah, you'd have to special summon it in defense position because it's just a monster. So, again, unless you can't special summon really easily from the hand or deck, there's no way.
This is not looking too hot.
They have to make a structure deck out of this. Okay. Here is Dew Dark of the Ice Barrier. If the only face-up monsters you control are level 2 or lower, this card can attack your opponent directly. Okay, we won't talk about that. That's obviously really bad.
Sure, yeah, let's do it. That's a staple. That's a 3 of.
Ooh, direct 1200. It's unstoppable. Here's another high-level monster. So it's like 8 stars. Once per turn during the end phase, you can select one Ice Barrier monster in your graveyard, except this card, and special summon it. Once per turn during the end phase, you can select one Ice Barrier monster in your graveyard, except its own card, and special summon it. So that means you could special summon the Synchros from the graveyard too. What do you think about that? Kevin?
Oh, my bad. My mic was muted. Said I like that. I think it definitely would include the synchros. So yeah, I think I would run 1 or 2 of those.
Yeah, again, you'd have to find a way to special summon, especially because it's level 8. So
I would hope that in this structure deck, there's a better method of special summoning.
yeah, because none of these even have special summon clauses. So you're gonna have to like make spell cards that make that happen. Here is General Granard of the Ice Barrier. During your main phase, you can normal summon one Ice Barrier monster in addition to the normal summoner set. Okay, that's fine, but it's just like a level 9 monster.
It's normals, man. Like
If this was a level 4, then you could normal summon another.
Why are we Why are we centering all of this around normal summoning? Is like that's what is like perplexing me the
Without even
most.
an effective method to normal summon either. Like, how are you
Yeah,
supposed to get this guy
exactly.
out there? That's not a bad effect though. General Raiho of the Ice Barrier. When an effect resolves that was activated by an effect monster that was on your opponent's side of the field, they must discard one card or their effect is negated.
How
Oh.
much does that really move the needle?
Okay, but okay, let's go along the assumption that they're going to find a way to like special summon these cards. You bust out General and this scroll, like if they're special summoned from the hand.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad. If your opponent wants to use a monster effect, they have to discard a card every time. That's like if in addition to you assumingly having like a Synchro on the field already.
Yeah.
That one's okay.
Yeah. Maybe a one of.
Yeah, definitely. That's a definite one of. Because then, yeah, if you had easy access to special summoning, for sure. Okay, let's see here. Now we're on to Geomancer of the Ice Barrier. Discard one card and declare one attribute. This card cannot... Oh, boy. This card cannot be selected as an attack target by monsters with that attribute. This effect can only be used once while this card is face up on the field. Who made that, man?
Want to read it one more time? I need to.
Discard one card and declare one attribute. This card cannot be selected as an attack target by monsters with that attribute. This effect can only be used once while this card is face up on the field. That's
sure.
You gotta go -1 to maybe stop an attack.
Sure.
Nah, man, come on. Oh, here's a Synchro I missed. Once per turn, you can discard up to 2 cards to the graveyard to target the same number of cards your opponent controls. Destroy them. Good card. Again, another great Synchro.
Yeah.
And if they have if these Ice Barrier monsters, the new ones have graveyard effects like off discard, that would be like really good. Which I'm assuming is what they'll do. Here's one of the spell cards. Reveal 3 Ice Barrier monsters with different names in your hand. To select one card your opponent controls, destroy that opponent's card and special summon one Ice Barrier monster from your hand. Ugh. You gotta like, what are the chances that you have 3 different Ice Barrier monsters in your hand? That's a lot, dude.
Yeah, that seems like a brick in the hand.
Unless there was like a Rhoda that searched 3 Ice Barrier monsters, I would not feel comfortable using this.
There's no way. There's no way.
Even if there's a Rhoda for this, you would best have probably 2 in your hand. Oh, I don't think that's gonna work. Oh, here they go. They do have a Rhoda. All right, never mind. Medallion. So they already have a. That's actually really good for the new monsters that come out. Obviously. I don't think this is played because, especially if you draw it late game, it's like it's like the worst cards you could possibly draw. You know. Okay. On to Medium of the Ice Barrier. If your opponent controls 4 or more cards than you do, oh god, you can special summon this card.
These qualifiers, all of these qualifiers are just so strange.
They're like a
These
once in every
requirements
5 duel like requirements.
Yeah.
You can only your opponent.
Because the thing is, we've had a few of these so far, and I know Konami is gonna end up including at least a few of them in the structure deck.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out which ones he might. If you, oh god, if you can special summon this from your hand or deck, the effect of your opponent only being able to activate 1 spell or trap each turn, that's not bad actually. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's very dependent upon that. Here we go. During this, this is Mirror of the Ice Barrier. That's a quick play spell. During this turn, each time a card is removed from play from your hand or your side of the field, and or your graveyard by effective effect monster, which is obviously your Synchros. If this card is in your hand, is removed from play, remove from up to 2 random cards in your opponent's hand. When would that ever happen? If a card you control is removed from play, remove from play up to 2 cards your opponent controls.
There's too much text on this card, man. This is why I need every card to look like a rush duel card.
If this card in your graveyard is removed from play up to 2 cards. So it's basically like in tandem. Like you activate the Synchro effect, and then you do effect like to banish. So I think it'll be much easier. So I'm thinking this is at least a 1 or 2. It helps like banish a bunch of cards your opponent controls. So yeah, I think that'll be in the structure deck. Numbing Grub of the Ice Barrier. When this card is normal summon, select 1 unused main monster zone. While this card is face up on the field, that selected main monster zone cannot be used. Oh, you know what? I'm kind of seeing I think I'm kind of seeing a vision.
I think because like I think more and more we see more cards take advantage of like the environment of the playing field,
which I like a lot.
Yeah,
I think it's cool.
So I think that's a unique card that someone who really gets down and dirty with this archetype can figure out how to utilize in an effective way.
You know what actually I'm thinking, which I think I'm seeing a vision here with the deck. This is actually like a great utility deck. You know how we say like, oh, that happens only once every 5 duels. What if you could, special summon from your deck or whatever, the 2 cards that play effect in this duel? I think that's an interesting concept. Mm-hmm. I think that'd be really cool if they were actually able to figure that out and do that. Because then you'd be like, oh, okay, this monster zone's really important for that link monster. Let me like a quick effect, target that. I think that'd be really good. Again, a lot of it is defensive. Pilgrim of the Ice Barrier. This card cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster with 1900 or more attack. That won't be in there. Okay, I think this is one of the good ones. Prior of the Ice Barrier. If you control a face-up Ice Barrier monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Okay. You cannot special summon any level 5 or higher monsters the turn you use this effect. What? You can tribute this card, then target 1 Ice Barrier monster in your graveyard. Except this own card, special summon that target. Oh, no. I'm going to tell you why this is a bad card. It's bad. You're using... Okay, so you special summon this card, right? Which is good. So you control 2 Ice Barrier monsters, which is, in theory, good. But you can't special summon level 5 or higher monsters, and secret monsters are levels, so you can't synchro summon that turn. Right?
And now, that would kind of lock you out of the core mechanic of the, the deck, is getting those specific monsters out.
It's the one card that special summons itself, and it's bad. Maybe they could easily softer out of this.
Add some more lax special summoning mechanics.
Yeah. Oh, this is a cool looking card. Royal Knight of the Ice Barrier. When this card is tribute summoned, special summon 1 Ice Coffin token in attack position to your opponent's side of the field. This token cannot be attributed for a tribute summon. What? If this card is tribute summon, you special summon a token to your opponent's field?
I don't understand where the benefit is.
Here's a token for me tribute summoning, dude. That's like, oh wow, that's terrible. Okay, moving on. Sacred Spirit of the Ice Barrier. This card cannot be special summoned. Great. This card returns to the hand during the end phase the turn it is normal summoned, or flip summon face up unless you control another face up Ice Barrier monster. In that case, this card's effect changes to select 1 monster your opponent controls and return it to the hand instead. Oh
my god, dude.
Oh, it can't be special summoned. Never mind. Actually, that really, that alone. If you could, I'm thinking if you special summon it, and you have it on the field, at the end phase, it returns a target to their hand, so it's pretty good. But no, that's bad. I'm not using my normal summon on that dog. Samurai of the Ice Barrier. When this face-up attack card is changed to face-up defense position, destroy this card. If you do, draw one card. Again, dude, that's just like... That's the draw power of the deck. Your normal summon, like, that's crazy. Face-up Ice Barrier monsters you control cannot be targeted by effects. Okay, yes. So again...
Yeah, but this card also has to, like, take up a spot on the field for it to be effective.
Which I think is okay. If you have your...
It's also a level 2 monster with low attack points, like... It's not a tuner either.
Yeah, that's actually what I was thinking too. Is like, wow, it's not a tuner, but it has it's something I think you could even side if you have a lot of targeting, against you. I just
yeah, I guess.
Well, actually, think about it. If you special summon this card and the one that stops attacks, they can't target with card effects or even attack. So that's not a bad kind of soft lock right there.
But again, how many of these cards do I need to have on the field? And then what do I need to do in order to keep them on the field?
Yeah, I mean, it would only...
Keep them from being destroyed, etc.
Yeah. I mean, you would almost have to always special summon the one that says they can't attack it, even if that's enough, Yeah.
I think you gotta throw most of this out, man.
I don't know. I can see, like, some of them, maybe. Okay, last few here. Okay. The OCG card, she's wearing, like, jorts, and then the TCG, she, like, puts on, like, these pants. It's funny. Spellbreaker of the Ice Barrier. Once per turn, you can send one Ice Barrier monster from your hand to the graveyard. If you do, spell cards cannot be activated until the end phase of your next turn, as long as this card remains face up on the field. Maybe.
Yeah, I think it would. I think that's decent for locking your opponent out of spells for a turn.
Yeah, it depends. Like, imagine you're playing Sky Strikers. That's it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
So I think at the very least, it'll be in everyone's side deck. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And if you're playing in a spell heavy format, like let's say Pendulums come back, then they're dead too. So yeah, that's pretty decent actually. Oh, okay, this is not bad. Once per turn, this is Strategist of the Ice Barrier. Once per turn, you can send one Ice Barrier monster from your hand to the graveyard to draw one card. Especially if the new monsters have effects on discard, then you send for that
would be,
effect and draw. So that could definitely be.
I can see that there's a utilitarian kind of function to this card. You got to look beyond the +0.
Yeah, exactly. It might be able to plus
just like being able to send a card of your choice,
right,
on the Ice Barrier archetype to the graveyard. That'd be pretty valuable, and then you get to replace it. That's actually a pretty good card. I would actually probably like maybe 2 of those.
I would maybe run. I think I would run 3. That might be a good combo starter depending on like the effects. So, for sure, I agree on that one. Last monster here. While you control another face-up Ice Barrier monster, both players must set spell cards before activating them, and they cannot activate them until their next turn. Again, that's a side deck blowout Pendulum or a Dude. Or imagine, I wish it was trap cards too, because otherwise that would be a blowout for Guys too. Even so, against Guru and stuff like that, that's deadly.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm a big fan of that one. Wow, dude, I think I would have a lot of fun, dude, if you could. I don't know how OP it is to be like, maybe it's like a quick play if you control no monsters or something, special summon like 3 different Ice Barrier monsters that are, let's say 4 and under, right? That might not be bad at all. And then you basically do what you need. Like maybe you need a draw a card. Maybe you want to stop them from setting spells. Like that would be a great stun deck. Actually, yeah, no. People say this is like the worst archetype of all time, and like as it is now. But
There are some decent cards here already.
yeah, there's much
There's
more than I
definitely a
thought.
lot of there's not enough decent cards for there to be a framework of a good archetype, but like I mean like there are some solid cards here.
I really like the idea of this deck being like a super controlled deck, especially if they were to make a few more of these. It's like if this card is special summon, flip one monster your opponent controls face down. You know, I think the key to this deck will be special summoning during your opponent's turn. I think that's what it ultimately has to come down to in order to ice your opponent out of the game. I think that would be very topical. Yeah, I don't know. I think people are way too harsh on this.
They got a lot of work to do.
No, for sure. Yeah,
I'll say that.
Gotta have the spell cards. Got to be way better. You know, they have to facilitate special summoning these monsters that can't. That'll never be summoned otherwise.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. If this structure deck doesn't go out of its way to make special summoning kind of like the main mechanic of getting these monsters on the field, it's really not going to be worth your time.
Yeah, and I don't even think it'll be that hard. Like, it's, as long as the spell cards, like, let's say, like,
it shouldn't be, no.
Yeah, I say like you let them special summon 3 monsters,
or maybe a new monster.
Yeah, like special summon 3 different monsters from your deck. For the rest of this turn, you can only special summon Ice Barrier monsters or something like that. You know, like not people can't abuse it or anything. It'll have to be either use the 3 effects or you go into your synchro play. Like, you know, you could obviously line it up with the 3 monsters.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's perfectly fine, and I think that's really fun. A cool mechanic, actually.
Yeah, I think there's potential here.
Yeah, people are saying this is a meme deck, but I just see this as like really fun. I'm actually really glad it won because I'm way more excited than I was because I hadn't read the cards until right now. So, people are just like really making fun of it. But I don't know. I see a more.
We gotta get the update video. We gotta get the update video popping when we finally get to see these cards.
Shoot, yeah, dude.
Be, you know, pretty far away down the line. They gotta do like research and development on all these different cards.
Yeah, I just won like last week, but they usually pump them out pretty quickly. You know, like once they start getting announced in the OCG. That's how it was for the Sacred Beast structure deck. I remember.
Yeah.
Because they like to do these now every year, and I'm really happy. So. Next time we'll go over second place, which I can't even remember what it is, but Trickstar did not win, so I'm happy.
God bless.
Dude, thank you to the Yu-Gi-Oh community for not letting that happen. So yeah, that was
that's Ice Barriers, man.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good video, actually. I'm happy about that. We will check out like all of our other stuff on the channel, obviously. Kevin, do you have any other?
Yeah, guys, follow the Twitch channels. Follow everybody on Twitter. Doing some more branching out as far as just non-Yu-Gi-Oh content, which is always good. We don't want to pigeonhole ourselves, but yeah, man, we're doing some cool stuff over here. So follow us along on this little journey.
All right, guys, and we'll see you next time.